You guys, I ain't been on here in a long time, but I had to come on here today because I got some stuff I got to say. A lot of y'all are subscribed because of my reaction videos to music videos and stuff like that, but that ain't where I'm coming from today. That is not where I'm coming from today. Today we are talking about some football, but not only are we talking about football, I am going to express the truth about this certain individual because last night I saw some things that broke my heart concerning this young man. And before I get into any type of commentary, I am going to say that I'm going to always believe in this person regardless of the good and the bad. And I am no longer going to stay silent on some things that I feel like needs to be addressed. Number one. And number two, I don't believe in staying silent when, scrutiny is loud when you know the truth behind the situation. So I'm finna lay out the whole entire story for y'all about this certain individual. And I'm going to let it be 100% facts, and I'm staying out my feelings today. You know what I'm saying? I will, say when something is bad, it was bad. And I will say when something was good, it was good. But I'm also about to initiate a different perspective. So, okay, in football, there's a quarterback position. A quarterback position is a position that is not only dependent on yourself, but you are dependent on the people around you to help you, make the plays that you need to make. And a great coach once said that a quarterback is only as good as the players that he has around him. That would be this coach right here. And that makes a lot of sense, considering the fact that when Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl, y'all said that, he had a super team. He didn't prove himself enough. When you have a super offensive line that can hold for God knows forever, like all of these little stupid comments about, he's passing to AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. You mean receivers that are actually supposed to catch the ball? Like that's in their job description. That's what they getting paid millions of dollars to do. That type of stuff. When you are a quarterback and you have good players around you that allow you to make the plays that you need to make, that helps your performance. But on the flip side of that, when you have bad players around you that are undisciplined, that every time you take one step forward, you take two steps back, we got an issue. We have an issue when you have receivers that can't get separation. That's an issue. When you have an offensive line that can't hold for nothing more than 1 second, that's an issue. So I'm finna just get into the story about this young man. And I'm not really finna say, like, I'm keeping my feelings out of it, but I am finna just tell y'all straight up facts. In 2023, Alabama started Jalen Milroe as a quarterback. Nick Saban, the greatest football coach of all time, went to Texas to get Jalen Milroe because he saw something in that young man that he knew that he could develop, number one, and he could use the talent as a quarterback. Jalen Milroe got drafted to the Seattle Seahawks as a quarterback. And y'all want to know why? Because NFL scouts ain't looking at the same thing that you looking at. The people that are actually sitting down reviewing this film are actually counting things that are like, okay, well, that was his fault, but this right here wasn't his fault. They are seeing the things that they can differentiate from his errors and the players around him errors. So let's get into it. In 2023, Jalen Milroe was faced with an offensive line at Alabama that caused over 100 pressures and 44 sacks. 5 of those sacks being in one half against the Sun Belt team. And if y'all don't watch college football or understand the things about college football, a Sun Belt team is like the bottom tier of college football. That's the bottom tier, bottom tier group. I'm going to just say that, group of 5, whatever, team, that it could be. When you are a quarterback that is playing under 100 pressures and 44 sacks, we got problems, man. We got problems. And a lot of y'all can say, oh, he held the ball too long. Oh, he did this. Oh, he did that. And while some of them things might be true, what bags up that point is the fact that, okay, you called for him to be benched after the Texas game, and after the Texas game, when he did get benched, and you almost lost to a Sun Belt team behind 2 other quarterbacks that you called for, whose fault was it then? Who held the ball too long then? Like, it wasn't that. Nick Saban did that to show y'all that y'all don't know what you talking about. You not finna tell me who to put on my field and who not to put on my field. If I say that's the guy, that is the guy. And if I listen to you, this is the result. Nick Saban did that to show y'all that no matter who was back there behind that ball, that offensive line stunk. And it did. It stunk really bad. Jalen Milroe later on went on to go to a SEC championship game with this same line. And he won that. He won that SEC championship game. And not only that, we were able to make it to the playoffs and be one play away from going to the national championship. If Tom Brady in 2015, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, and y'all can call me crazy for saying this, but the point of me saying this is that even the best of the best quarterbacks can't outplay a bad line. They just can't do it. In 2015, Tom Brady, he had an offensive line that caused over 100 pressures and 38 sacks. And with that line, he managed to make it to the AFC Championship. He lost and he had to go home. That's the same thing that Jalen Milroe was able to do at a college level in that year with an even worse line. If you choose to not see what I'm saying with that and you want to be purposefully dense and try to go all around the world with that, go ahead. But I'm saying this. That's the truth of the matter. Like, even the best of the best have a hard time if the guys up front ain't doing what they supposed to be doing. So anyway, next year, Nick Saban retires, bro. Nick Saban retired. We don't got the same team that we had last time. This young man was given no grace at all, point blank period, and he was expected to play. He was expected to play like that shit didn't happen at all. Everything fell on him because Kalen DeBoer is a coach that depends way too much on his quarterback. That's why he lost the national championship game when he played for it, because he depended too much on Michael Penix. Y'all are still riding this wave of Kalen DeBoer because of Michael Penix. They didn't run the ball well then. When the quarterback don't got no help from the run game, and really no help with pass protection, we have a problem. This young man has not been able to shine like he's supposed to be. And everything is not his fault. Yes, sometimes he makes bad reads and bad decisions. Don't every quarterback? I watched Jalen Hurts have the worst ball security that I've ever seen any quarterback have in the NFL, and he came right back the next year with the best ball security. Jalen Hurts threw 20 interceptions in a single season. The next season after that, he came back and won the Super Bowl. Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions in one game and bounced back from that last year when they won the Super Bowl. And you want to know why? Because people were disciplined. If you have undisciplined players that say, every time me as a quarterback, I go up here and I get the first down and we make a positive play, but then you got somebody over here that says, oh, false start over here, up, holding over here, illegal shift over here, and we get called back, and I have to make up for these things. I have to make up for these things. Jalen Milroe has spent his whole entire collegiate career making up for offensive tragedies. Seriously, offensive tragedies. If you don't think that an offensive line that give up over 100 pressures and 38 sacks, and 40-something sacks is an offensive tragedy, then you don't know football. You don't know football. So let's get, I'm sorry, 2024. 2024, we had a wonderful offensive lineman by the name of Elijah Pritchett who caused over 30 pressures and sacks, over 30 pressures and tackles to be made on his quarterback alone. One guy. I'm talking about one dude that Kalen DeBoer didn't have the nuts to say, hey man, look, if you don't start playing better, we gotta get your, we gotta tell your ass to sit down. But you ain't had the nuts to do that, so you let that boy just sit there and play behind him. And that was him on top of everybody else's mistakes. And before y'all sit over here and try to say, oh, well, that was just one guy, from the South Florida game in 2024, I seem to, remember the impact that one guy had on the offensive line. And as soon as we took him out, everything was fine. So if one person ain't on their job, if one single person not on their job, that could mess up for a lot of people. So let's get into that. But anyway, this was not the same team. Nick Saban retired, and he didn't have no protection either. Actually, Jalen Milroe had less time in the pocket than Ty Simpson had the next year. So, and we can watch film on that. I don't care about that. Like, we can sit down and have some real facts about that. Pro Football Focus data and advanced tape metrics explicitly prove that Ty Simpson had a more sustained time to throw the ball in a cleaner pocket environment than Jalen Milroe has ever received. And y'all can look, you go argue with Google all you want to. Go argue with Google all you want to. Because we're talking about facts. We ain't talking about feelings today. It's like watching Alabama all over again, but yet he is the one getting the blame for the things that he has absolutely no control over. I am tired of the hatred towards this young man without people fully understanding what goes into playing a quarterback position. I need my receivers to catch the ball. I need my offensive line to not bag me up when I take one step forward, so you make us take 2 steps back. I don't need illegal shifts. I don't need false starts. I don't need holding penalties that get plays called back. Jalen Milroe has had to play hero football for his life, for his whole entire career. Don't let nobody tell you that this young man is not no quarterback, because he is. The circumstances around him is making him look bad. That point blank period. And then he's starting to get in his head, and I can see it. He's starting to get in his head because he's trying to trust himself, but he don't know if he don't know if he can trust the players around him. And you play different when you know that you can trust somebody and say, that's my guy, and he gonna do it, he gonna get it regardless. But when I'm trying and I'm doing the best that I can, and my receivers can't get separation, they can't catch the ball, they causing penalties back to back, I'm finna think it's all on me. I'm finna think it's all on me regardless. I'm gonna think I have to do some big plays to try to make this happen. I gotta move the sticks. And he's starting to get flustered because it's like, damn, I'm really trying my best. I'm doing what I'm supposed young man is unlearning being a quarterback in survival mode. That's what's happening. Because he has spent, like I have mapped out for y'all throughout this whole entire video, he has spent his entire collegiate career, and not just his collegiate career. Now we at the Seahawks and we behind a whole bunch of third and fourth stringers. He is trying to unlearn being in survival mode behind broken systems and not being around players that could protect him. This is not nothing new. This has been happening since 2023. When you have spent your whole entire collegiate career and then some, having to develop a mindset that you have to depend on yourself. I can't trust the guys around me because I don't know what they finna do to bag me up. Are they gonna catch the ball? Are they gonna catch the ball? Are they gonna make the block? Can I trust my running back to see his, see the lanes he can go through? And speaking of running backs and all of this type of stuff, Jalen Milroe didn't really have any help from the run game last night either. If any quarterback don't have any type of help from a run game, it's all on you. It's literally all on you. We're going to talk about that first interception, because that first interception came after a series of penalties that made him feel like, man, I got to do something and make something happen. I'm not taking another 4 and out. That put this young man in a 1st and 20 predicament. First and 20 predicament. And defenses knowing that you got to have 20 yards to get from self-inflicted wounds, defenses knowing that, they know you finna drop back. They know you finna try to make up for them yards. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know what's coming. And then let's talk about the breakdown of protection. He didn't have no protection when he threw that. I mean, the defenders was in his face like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have some type of protection as a quarterback, or you are going to look a fool. This was a forced environmental mistake. It's hard to not play hero ball or be forced to play hero ball when you're constantly being moved behind the chains. And it's just stuff that people don't want to put into perspective. And that don't mean that he shouldn't have, he could have made a better decision. He could have made a better decision, but I'm saying that it was a forced environmental mistake, which happens. What a lot of y'all actually fail to realize is that these play calls and playbooks and plays that what we have for a 1st and 10, if you keep bagging it up and we keep making these errors and shooting ourselves in the foot, the playbook go out the window. The playbook just goes straight out the window, because it's like I can't do anything like I wanted to do it because we're not in 1st and manageable, 2nd and manageable, 3rd and manageable. We can't manage this. Before Jalen Milroe threw that pick, there were 4 consecutive penalties that put these Negroes behind the chains. 4. We had an illegal shift. We had a false start. We had a holding penalty. And then the last thing, to check it all off, we had a delay of game. And the next thing we finna talk about is this 4th and 3 situation where y'all claim that he took a sack when he didn't have to, and he could have. Some of y'all just saying he could have threw the ball away. Don't give me no quarterback that's finna give up on the 4th and 3 by just throwing the ball away because the receivers struggled to get separation and wasn't nobody open. Can we watch film? Can we watch film? Does anybody want to turn on the TV that's doing all of this talking, want to show me where anybody was open down the field? The receivers didn't get separation. And some of y'all wanted him to throw the ball away instead of taking a sack. And how you gonna do that on the 4th and 3? I'm trying to make something happen so I don't have to deal with another 4 and out. And the crazy thing about it is, if he would have threw the ball away on the 4th and 3, it would have been a turnover on downs anyway. anyway. Like, seriously. We didn't want another turnover on downs. So I wanted you to try to extend the play as much as you could. And if your receivers can't get, if they can't get separation and somebody struggled to get open, nobody's open, I'm stuck back here with the ball. And these aren't excuses. These are facts that actually affect QB play. I'm tired of him being made out as a bad quarterback when the truth of the reality is he just don't got no good players around him to help him out. And it's been like that since 2023, and facts and data prove it. A lot of y'all just want to hate. A lot of y'all just don't want to see the truth. A lot of y'all don't want the facts because you just want your feeling of hatred towards this young man. And I understand it. I understand why it's so much hatred towards him. And that's on the spiritual level. When you are chosen, and y'all can laugh at this and say what you want to say and all of this other stuff, but when you are chosen, the enemy's attacks start early. Bill Belichick told that nigga that he would never be he could never be a quarterback that played for Alabama, and Jalen Milroe went and won an SEC championship trophy with Alabama as a quarterback. And not only does the attack start early, he started using people whose opinions should mean the world, whose opinions should knock you off your kilter, whose opinions should knock you down. He will even try to make circumstances around you so hard to the point to where you doubt yourself. But God say, I will use the foolish things in this world to shame the wise, which means I will take something that others deem, the world deems as insignificant, because they think they know so much. I'm going to turn it into the most ultimate significance that it's ever had. And that's what's spiritually going on. There are some young men that are out here that are playing football because that's what they chose to do with their lives. And there are some young men that are out here that are playing football because that is the platform that God has chosen for them in their lives to be an example for him so he can get the ultimate glory out of their story in the end. He's been doubted his whole entire life. And I've seen this young man get up and continue to fight with the resiliency that comes from the God that is within him. It's hard to keep your head up when you're trying to do that the best that you can, but understanding that football is a team effort and it's not all on you. And it's been like that for years. This boy ain't never had no perfect protection. And as a quarterback, perfect protection don't exist, but help a nigga out, protection should exist. It's not gonna shock me if one day I hear that he's moving up to QB2. It's not gonna shock me one day if I hear that he finna start for somebody. It's not gonna shock me. Because I already knew the truth. Because I followed it. And I seen it. And I understood it. And I understood that this man wasn't a team by himself, but he was made out to be. Because the truth of the matter is, if them niggas up front don't do what they supposed to do, them people bend the back behind them gonna look like they don't know what the hell they supposed to do. And that's just the truth of the matter, man. Y'all like to pick and choose who you like to put under fire and who you don't. Who you like to look under circumstances for and who you don't. But I'm not finna allow that to happen. Not over here. We finna take all things into account. And that's why he's in the NFL. Because NFL scouts have taken all things into account. They don't just read headlines about how people feel about somebody. and call it a day. They look at the play as a whole. Mike McDonald look at the plays as a whole. Mike McDonald look at the team as a whole. So, okay, I feel better. I feel better now. I feel better now. I just had to get that out my system. I believe that one day God is going to bless him with some players that want to win just as much as he want to win, that are going to be disciplined, that are going to catch the ball, that are receivers. They're going to get some separation. The offensive line. We ain't finna have no holding penalties, no illegal shifts, no false starts, no none of that. No none of that shit. And I believe that that his ball security, will definitely improve. So I'm good on that. And y'all can laugh at me for sitting over here trying to shed some positive light in a negative situation. You can sit over here and laugh at me for believing in somebody that you don't believe in. And we can agree to disagree and have two different opinions. I don't really care. But I'm not going to stop believing in somebody, especially him, because they make mistakes. I've seen quarterbacks make mistakes and bounce back. And he's going to be one of them. But what I saw last night, I'm just going to say, I just saw him break. I just saw him break. And it's not just because of that one game. It's because of everything that he's been through. Just because somebody makes mistakes doesn't mean that they're not a good player. So, there's that. But, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Because I ain't been here in a minute. And this is what made me want to come back on here. So, thank you.